Um, Good evening, my dear students. You all warmly welcome for the lesson number 6, Human Intelligence. Actually, we have discussed a few theories of human intelligence. So, initially, we have defined what is meant by human intelligence. Later on, we discussed few theories on intelligence. And initially, we have discussed Gardner's multiple intelligence theory. And it has cascaded. There are 8 types of intelligence. Then after we discussed about those individual these different types of intelligence with its specific strength characteristic, and we discussed one by one. So at the end, we have discussed about the next theory, which is somewhat a very, very important theory stated by Robert J. Sternberg. So it is a triarchic theory of intelligence. So under that, there are 3 aspects have been discussed: analytical intelligence, creative intelligence, and practical intelligence. So as a third theory, we have discussed about Guilford's theory of intelligence. So under Guilford theory of intelligence, we have discussed that the different dimensions of intelligence. Then after as the fourth theory, we have discussed Thurston multiple factor theory of intelligence. So under Thurston multiple factor theory of intelligence, I have discussed with you like 9 types of intelligence, 9 type of factors which consider as the those ability factors are considered as 9 primary mental abilities which coming under the intelligence domain, and I have discussed one by one separately. Then the last topic we have to discuss is emotional intelligence, which is somewhat a very, very good topic, and a very important topic, not only for our not only for our work, for a work context, but basically this emotional intelligence is required for all human beings on this earth. Because in the previous lesson we have discussed what is meant by emotions. Then I identified the importance of emotions, and there are different types of emotions have been discussed, starting from happiness, happy, sad, disgust. Then today, so I'll be discussing what is meant by emotional intelligence. So basically, in the previous lesson, I came to the conclusion that everybody should know about their intelligence, their type of emotions very well. That means, as a person, I should be able to understand what is the emotion we are possessing right now. Because as human being on this earth, we are dealing with different emotions time to time. Okay, in our day-to-day activities, at any given time we are experiencing a certain emotion. Either it can be happy, sad, disgust, fear, or any feeling which directly cause for us for decision making, and which directly cause for interpersonal relationship. So if these emotions are directly affect for our interpersonal relationships and for our decision making, then honestly we have to accept that we have to be very intelligent, we have to be very um, uh, we have to pay full attention, full focus on this emotion, what we are possessing at every moment, because it can cause to destroy the relationship with the others. It can cause to it can cause for negative impact on our decision making process. Let's say when I'm really quite quick, that means if I tempered, that if I really fear for a certain objective, then the decision that I'm making in that situation may not be the accurate one in that instance. So therefore, this we have to control our emotions. So before control our emotion, we have to aware about our emotion. What is the emotion we are experiencing right now? Then after, once we know what is the emotion we are experiencing, then later on we can control it. On the other hand, we can understand other person's emotion, and then after we can take necessary action to maintain the relationship with them. It is really needed, because sometimes, even though if you are really pretty good enough to understand your emotion, and if you are really sound in controlling your emotion, but sometimes if you cannot understand the other person's emotion, what will happen? You will that means you will negatively make an impact on the other person. Then, let's say when your mother is really angry with you, so if you are talking with her continuously, will make her much more steam than before. So therefore, you should be able to understand, yes, my mom is now angry with me, so therefore I try to avoid her as much as I can. Then later on, I can explain what I have done in that situation, but this is not the correct time for me to approach. So likewise, you have to emotional intelligence. You have to understand other person's emotion, and then after you have to take necessary action to have a to maintain a very good relationship with the other people. It's really needed because people on this earth are not live as an isolated person. They have to interact with the other people. They have to have some kind of interpersonal relationship with other people, especially this emotion directly affect our decision making as well as interpersonal relationship. So let's try to focus on what is meant by emotional intelligence. We all have different personalities. So actually, we'll be discussing under the lesson called personality, what is meant by personality, because personality means how we look at what kind of traits we are possessing, how we think, how we behave, and what is our physical appearance. So personality means our physical appearance. On the other hand, how we think, how we feel, and how we act or react. Oh, so it's called personality. So the way a person react or act in a situation, the way a certain person think or perceive or feel about a certain phenomenon will explain his or her personality. On the other hand, we all have different personalities, wants and needs, because the wants and needs are vary from one person to another. And the way of showing our emotion also totally different. Okay, so some people, when they're happy, they are not show it to the world. But when some people are angry, they are not show it to the other people. So they can control their emotion very well. Okay, so therefore, sure, the way our showing our emotion is vary from one person to another, which navigate through the takes, tact, and cleverness, especially if we hope to succeed. So this is where emotional intelligence become important. So therefore, so we have to be very careful or very clever, and we have to be tactful when we are showing our emotion to the other people. It's really needed. It's really needed. Okay, so sometimes when you are showing your emotion as you experience to the general community, what will automatically happen, then later on will not be able to you will not be able to uh, uh, recognize your emotion, as well as you cannot understand what they are telling you and realize how they affect people around us. So the emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize your emotion. That's why I told you, you should be able to aware about your emotion. It's called self-awareness. Then understand what they are telling you. So then after you have, when you have very good understanding, then you should be able know what this certain emotion imply to be. Then you can control and realize how they affect people around you. Then later on, you should understand, if I'm really unhappy in this situation, it is negatively affect for my husband, for my children, for my parents. So therefore, I have to control my emotion at the moment, and I have to be I should be a very strong person as much as I can. So it also involves your perception of others, understanding how they feel allow you to manage relationship more effectively. Okay, it is also your perception of others. Understanding how they feel allow you to manage relationship. That's why I told you. So if you are really, if you can recognize your emotion correctly, if you can understand how they affect and how what it imply, and if you can understand how your emotion is negatively or positively affect the people around you, then we can say that you can manage your relationship effectively. Because most of the people will come up with end of different relationships, like love affairs or parental love or any other activities, because they try to show their emotion as it is to the world. No, we even though we are really unhappy, if even though we are really fear, disgust, but we should be able to manage it. So people with high emotional intelligence are usually successful in most things they do. Why? Because they are the one that others want on their team. Okay, so if you have identified that some people are very strong in emotional intelligence, they can understand their emotion, they can control their emotion, as well as they can understand other emotion, and therefore they react to that or act in that situation in a appropriate manner, they later on they can have very good relationship. So basically, when we are discussing these the content of the emotional relationship, first one is self-awareness. First, you should know, you should be able to understand your emotions correctly. Then you should be able to control your emotion. Third one, you should be able to understand other person's emotion. And then after According to understanding, you should be able to control. You should help the other person to control their emotion. Then after, finally, what happened, you can have a very healthy relationship. Okay. So characteristics have been listed here. Few characteristics are there. But anyhow, before that, when people with high emotional intelligence send an email, it gets answered. When they need help, they get it. Because they make others feel good, they go through life much more quickly than easily angered or upset people. Because basically, when people are emotionally intelligent, they know how they can get the work done through people. Okay, sometimes if you understand other person's emotion correctly, then after what you do is you try to facilitate that person to control their emotion. Then automatically what will happen, the other person will support you for your need easy. Okay, write down. Emotional intelligence is ability to understand ability to understand ability to understand your emotion, ability to understand your emotions, and second one is after understanding ability to control yourself, after understanding ability to control after understanding ability to control his or her emotion his or her emotion his or her emotion appropriately. Third one, understand the other person's emotion, understand the other person's emotion, understand the other person's emotion, the other person's emotion accurately, 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 and final one, accurately, and act or react, positively, positively, act or react positively, according to the emotion, according to the emotion, according to the emotion experienced by other people or other person, finally, able to have a very good relationship, able to have very good relationship, able to have very good relationship with the people around him, with the people around him, with the people around him. Okay. So initially in the under emotional control, there are 4 important aspects. Some have cascaded into 5, but let's discuss. At least there should be 4. The first one is you should be able to understand your emotion. Second one is you should be able to control your emotion after understanding. Third one is you should be able to understand other emotions and react or act according to that. And finally, as a result of all these, you should be able to maintain a very good relationship. So please do remember, my dear student, there is a hierarchical order of these 4, because initially you should be able to understand your emotion. Then secondly, you should be able to control because you have proper understanding about your emotion. Then thirdly, if you know about your emotion, if you can control your emotion, then you can understand the other person's emotion accurately. And based on that, you decide appropriately what is the action or reaction that I have to show in that situation. Then later on, as a result of all, you should be able to have a very healthy relationship with other people. Those are the very important areas on emotional intelligence. On the other hand, you put a curly bracket for these sentences when people with high emotional intelligence to upset people, because this point highly emphasize that when people with high emotional intelligence, that means they should be able to get the work done through people. So that is a real beauty. Okay, because they can understand other person's emotion, they work with them, and they can, especially they can get the work done through people because they know the other person's emotion very well, and as a result of that, the particular person will act or react according to their emotion. Okay, put a curly bracket and write down. When you can understand other, for these sentence, okay, when people to upset people, put a curly bracket and write down. When people can understand other people, when a person can understand other people's emotion correctly, they can act or react appropriately to the given situation. Finally, they can get the work done through people. Finally, they can get the work done through people. Finally, they can get the work done through people. Finally, they can get the work done through people. They can get the work done through people as a result of their understanding about the other people's emotion. Okay. I will show you, my dear students, what is mean by emotional intelligence. There's a small video for you. So simply look at what is mean by emotional intelligence. And basically, let's discuss what it is. Wait, I will show you there.
If you're an aspiring leader or manager, there's an important element you need to consider when evaluating your knowledge and skills: emotional intelligence. Also known as emotional quotient or EQ, emotional intelligence is the ability to understand and manage your emotions and those of the people around you. Emotional intelligence is typically divided into 4 competencies: self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management.
Okay. Self-awareness mean like simply the first point that I have told you. Self-awareness mean Pute, like simply you know about your emotion very well. So actually when I'm showing this video, I kindly request from you to write down them because it's needed. I'm not showing these for entertainment purpose. So in order to get a very good knowledge than my handout, that is the main purpose of showing these videos. So therefore, self-awareness means the point that I have shown you before. It is simply you should know about what kind of emotions that you are experiencing right now. Okay, so I have explained what is meant by emotion and type of emotion in the previous lesson. Therefore, I'm not going to explain it right now. But you should know about what is the emotion you are experiencing right now. It's coming under self-awareness. So self-management is once you have a very proper understanding or a very good awareness about the emotion that you are experiencing, then you should be able to manage your emotion. If you are really happy, you should know how if it is not suitable to show it to the other. Let's say in recent time, there are few students, like many students have passed the scholarship exam. Few students have passed, but many have failed. Let's say when you come into the class, you in your class there are, let's assume there are only 30 students, but there are only out of 30, only 5 have been passed. So therefore, if you are a one student in that 5, so therefore you are really happy. So when you enter into the class, you know that 25 students have failed from this examination. Then you know your emotion is happy. But self-management is, even though you are happy, if you shout in front of the class and in front of these 25 children, so what they feel? They may feel like unhappy, sad, because they could not be able to go through that examination. So self-management is, even though you are happy, you should not demonstrate it to the other, because if you do so, it hurt the other people. So sometimes this is the way you have to control your emotions. So yes, I passed the examination, but it is one of an examination in our life. There are many more we have to go for. So it is not a very big one. So everybody can, everyone can pass the O-level examination. So it's a very tiny one, no need to be very happy. So likewise, that is the way, it's called self-management, because you are not hurting other people because of your emotion. Then social awareness means you should understand the other person emotion. So in the class, when you enter into the class, you should feel that 25 students are not passed in your exam, the scholarship examination. So you should be able to understand their emotion, because they are really sad. Sometimes they may angry with you. Okay, so then once you understand the other person emotion, you should be able to control their emotion. So when somebody is trying, you have to go near to him, tell, and tell, don't take it serious, and it's a very small exam, and small it does not have very big impact in our life. So we have to focus on O level and A level. Okay, so take it easy. Actually, this is not a very good one. This is not a very big one. Likewise, you have to help other person to control their emotions. So as a result of that, so once you have done in 2 ways, like you did not show your real emotion to the others, as well as you help other person to control their emotion, like 25 for that 25 students, then automatically what will happen? You will famous in your class as a very good student with a kind heart. It's called relationship management. Okay, let's start. Let's discuss one by one.
Self-awareness is at emotional intelligence's core. It's your ability to not only understand your strengths and weaknesses, but recognize your emotions and how they affect you and your team. Self-management is your capacity to manage your emotions, particularly in stressful situations, and maintain a positive outlook despite setbacks. Social awareness is your aptitude for recognizing others' emotions and organizational dynamics. Those who excel in social awareness practice empathy. They strive to understand colleagues' feelings and perspectives so they can be better communicators and collaborators. Relationship management is your capability to resolve conflict and influence, coach, and mentor others. It requires both self and social awareness and channeling them into interactions. Building your emotional intelligence helps you grow as a leader and motivate and coach colleagues more effectively. In turn, you can advance your career and organization. Do you want to improve your emotional intelligence? Explore our online course, Leadership Principles, and discover how you can create high-performing teams by unleashing the potential in yourself and others.
Okay. Simply
Dan,
that
how
is
are you?
called, yes, wait 1 second.
Wonderful. How are you doing? I'm doing
Wait.
fantastic as well. And so
Okay. That's called about emotional intelligence. So let's focus on a very small video. What is mean by emotional intelligence? I believe that you have an idea about what is emotional intelligence right now. This is also a small video and what is emotional intelligence.
Emotional intelligence is the quality that enables us to confront with patience, insight, and imagination.
So basically, emotional intelligence help, it's help us to have a very good relationship with other people. So let's see how it could be.
Insight and imagination, the many problems that we face in our effective relationship with ourselves and with other people. The term emotional intelligence may sound odd. We're used to referring to intelligence just as a general quality, without unpicking a particular variety a person might possess. And therefore, we don't tend to highlight the value of a distinctive sort of intelligence which currently does not enjoy the prestige it should. Every sort of intelligence signals an ability to navigate well around a particular set of challenges: mathematical, linguistic, technical, commercial.
So we actually in our lifetime, there are different challenges like mathematical, linguistic, technical, commercial. So, in order to face these challenges successfully, we require different types of intelligence.
When we say that someone is clever, but add that they've made a mess of their personal lives, or that they've acquired a fortune but are restless and sad, or that they are powerful but intolerant and unimaginative, we're pointing to a deficit in what deserves to be called emotional intelligence. In social life, we can feel the presence of emotional intelligence in a sensitivity to the moods of others, and in a readiness to grasp the surprising things that may be going on for other people beneath the surface. Emotional intelligence recognizes a role for interpretation and knows that, for example, a fiery outburst might be a disguised plea for help, or that a long political rant may be provoked by hunger, or that concealed within a forceful jolliness may be a sorrow that has been sentimentally disavowed. In relation to ourselves, emotional intelligence shows up in a skepticism around our emotions, especially those of love, desire, anger, envy, anxiety, and professional ambition. The emotionally intelligent refuse to just trust their first impulses or the inherent wisdom of their feelings. They know that hatred may mask love, that anger may be a cover for sadness, and that we are prone to huge and costly inaccuracies around whom we desire and what we really want. Emotional intelligence is also what distinguishes those who are crushed by failure from those who know how to greet the troubles of existence with a melancholy and at points darkly humorous resilience. The emotionally intelligent appreciate the role of well-handled pessimism within the overall economy of a good life. Emotional intelligence isn't an inborn talent. It's always the result.
Please take that point into account very correctly, Puti. Emotional intelligence is not an inborn talent. It is the result of education. Simply, emotional intelligence can be acquired through formal education, or not only education, from our experience as well. So, because understanding your emotion and control your emotion and understanding other person's emotion come as a result of this education. Like right now, we are learning about emotional intelligence. Sometime before, you don't know about this term. But because this lecture will teach you what is emotional intelligence, how it is important for you, and how it make a negative impact on the other to the society as a human being. So likewise, that formal education will be provided as well as with the experience. Sometimes your parents may not, sometimes your grandparents or your parents may not earn degree, or they may have not gone for this school as well, but they are really sound in emotional intelligence, because from their experience, so because of their seniority, they come up with different conclusions. Because of their experience, they have acquired this skill. So emotional intelligence is a skill, my dear student. Write down, emotional intelligence is not an inborn talent. It is a skill. Write down, emotional intelligence is not an inborn talent. Emotional intelligence is not an inborn talent. Emotional intelligence is not an inborn talent. And it is a skill. And it is a skill. It is a skill which can be acquired through formal education. And through experience. Please underline formal education and experience, okay? With the seniority, people acquire different skills and associate different type of people time to time. From experiences, they will become emotionally intelligent. Gradually.
Education, specifically education in how to interpret ourselves, in where our emotions arise from, in how our childhoods influence us, and in how we might best navigate our.
So basically, through formal education, like right now what I'm doing, we'll show you how you can interpret yourself, because and where your emotion arise from, because we know that emotion come from mind, and heart, you will understand it through heart, then after you have you should demonstrate as an action or reaction. So how our childhood influence us, because sometimes in our childhood, it's the experience that we have gathered from our childhood maybe negatively affect for our emotions. So how we might best navigate them to be a good people will be decided.
Wishes. In the ideal society, it would be routine to be taught emotional intelligence from the youngest age, before we'd had the opportunity to make too many mistakes. It's because we have, until now, not taken emotional education seriously enough that our species has grown ever more technically adept while retaining the level of wisdom of our earliest days, with catastrophic results. We are now evolved monkeys with nuclear weapons. It appears that the fate of civilization depends on our capacity to master the mechanisms of emotional education before it's too late. And emotional education means something far beyond just normal education as we've conceived of it to date. Though it should ideally include courses in every year of school or college, emotional education is more than something that should just take place in classrooms at the hands of teachers and come to a halt around the age of 21. The central vehicle for the transfer of emotional intelligence is culture.
Actually, this emotional intelligence is normally we acquired through the culture. Sometimes the Catholic Sinhala or a Buddhist Sinhala or a Tamil Hindu, those cultures will teach the emotional intelligence. So therefore, please make into account that the very important vehicle for the transfer of emotional intelligence is culture.
From its highest to its most popular level, culture is the field that can ritualize and consistently promote the absorption of emotional intelligence. The lessons might be embedded in a tragedy or a TV series, a pop song or a novel, a work of architecture or a YouTube film. We can envisage the entire apparatus of culture as a subtle mechanism designed to point us towards greater emotional intelligence. We will never progress as a species and will indeed grow into ever greater technologically armed menaces to ourselves until we've accepted the challenges and opportunities of properly educating ourselves in emotional intelligence. Our technical intelligence is great, of course. It's led us to tame nature and conquer this planet. But a wiser, saner future for the human race must depend on a capacity to master and then seductively teach one another the rudiments of emotional intelligence while there is still time. Thank you.
Okay. So that's all about emotional intelligence. So let's move to our handout again, my dear student. Okay, let's discuss what is meant by emotional intelligence then. So yeah, when we talk about emotional intelligence, self-awareness, because when we talk about self-awareness, people with high emotional intelligence are usually very self-aware. They understand their emotion very well. Because of this, they don't let other feeling to rule them. Because when they feel sad, then when they understand their emotion appropriately, they control it and not show it to the other people. So when they're happy, they try to control their emotion and not to show it to the other people. So therefore, because of this understanding, then we are not letting other people to rule us. It's really important thing. අපිට අපි අනිත්යට අපිව පාලනය කරන්න දෙන්නේ නැහැ. මොකද අපේ දේවල් අපි තනියම කරගන්නවා පාලනය because අපිට පාලනය කරන්න නම් අපේ හැඟීම්. Then they are also willing to take an honest look at themselves and they know where their strength and weakness. So if you are emotional intelligence, if you have very self-awareness about yourself, you know where you are strong, where you are weak. And they work on these areas so they can perform better. So actually, since I have told you that self-awareness is somewhat a skill, because like I don't know whether you have read about in management, scanning business environment. So likewise, in that, as a result of this scanning environment, we have identified strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats in our life. So likewise, if you are really aware about yourself, then you can understand your strength and weaknesses. Sometimes emotionally, you are really weak. So so it's your weakness. So when you can control your emotion because of your self-awareness, it's like you can enjoy a lot of benefits. This paragraph nicely explained. First one is you don't let don't let others to control your emotions. Then the other one is you honestly look at yourself and then you know where you are strong, where you are weak. And finally, you can perform better. So these few advantages of self-awareness have been listed here. Then self-regulation means this is the ability to control emotion and impulses. So people who have self-regulate typically, they don't allow themselves to become too angry and too jealous. Actually, they are very neutral people. As well as they are not too angry, too jealous, as well as they don't make impulsive and careless decision as well. That's why I told you at the initial stage, my dear student, this emotional intelligence is positively affect for decision making process, sometimes negatively as well. So if you can control your emotion, if you are not become too angry and too jealous, then you will not make careless decision. You make decision in a very conscious manner. They think before they act. Okay, so self-regulation are thoughtfulness, comfort with change, integrity, and ability to say no. If it is no, then you say no. Then motivation is people with high emotional intelligence. They're usually motivated and they're willing to defer immediate results for long-term success. They are highly productive, love a challenge, and are very effective in whatever they do. So motivation means simply these kind of people these are the few characteristics of emotional intelligence, not the parts, okay? And these emotionally intelligent people are self-awareness of them is very high. They can control themselves very well. And they are really motivated people. They always go for long-term success. So sometimes if they passed or not, if they fail from an examination, they will not suffering. They learn the mistakes that they have committed during the past period, and then they strictly determined to get a better grade in the next time. Long-term success, highly motivated, චිත්ත ධෛර්යයෙන් වැඩ කරනවා ඒ වගේ අය. මම විභාගේ ෆේල් වුණේ මගේ මේ වැරදි නිසා මම ඒ වලින් ඉගෙනගෙන අඩුපාඩු I will obtain a better grade than this. So they love for challenge, they very effective what they do. Then the other one is empathy. So in the actually a few videos I will be showing later. So in that video also empathy will be shown. Empathy means like third characteristic third important component of intelligence what I have told you. You can understand other person's emotion, and not only that, you positively react to act according to the emotion of the other people. So it's coming under empathy. Empathy කියන්නේ අපි කියන්නේ සංවේදනය කියලා. අපි කෙනාගේ සපත්තුවට බහලා කල්පනා කරනවා. If it happens to me, how would I feel? So even though I pass the scholarship exam, it's okay, it's perfectly okay. But if my friend, my best friend, she has failed from this examination. So you try to go to his position and think, if I failed, what would I feel? So it's called empathy. So actually, these emotionally intelligent people, they are really empathetic. They can understand other person's emotion very well and they act and react according to those emotions. So people with empathy are good at recognizing the feeling of other, even when those feelings may not be obvious. අපිට හැඟීම් කියන දේවල් පේන්න නෑනේ පුතේ. පේන්න නැති වුණත් සංවේදනය වැඩි මිනිස්සුන්ට අනිත් අයව තේරුම් ගන්න පුළුවන් කියලා කියන. So these empathetic people are usually excellent at managing relationships, listening and relating to other people. They are very strong in building relationship with the other people, in managing relationship with other people and listening to the others people. They avoid stereotyping and judging too quickly and live their lives openly and honestly. They avoid stereotyping and judging too quickly. ඒගොල්ලෝ අනිත් අයව judge කරන්නේ නැහැ ඉක්මනට. ඒගොල්ලෝ හරිම විවෘත මනසින් හරිම අවංකව වැඩ කරනවා. So actually nice qualities have been cascade here. So avoid stereotyping කියලා කියන්නේ පටු අදහස් වල එන්නේ. Stereotype කියන අනිත් අය ගැන වැරදියට හිතනවා. පටු විදිහට හිතන්නේ. So underline the stereotype and write down පටු විදිහට හිතන්නේ නැහැ. Not narrow-minded. Not narrow-minded and they judging. They did not judge people quickly and they live their lives openly and honestly. විවෘතව අවංකව ඒගොල්ලෝ වැඩ කරනවා. So empathetic people. And finally, the social skills. So when the emotional intelligence, people with high emotional intelligence, they like to have very good relationship with other people. So the fourth important component is having good relationship with other people. So the easy to talk and like people with good social skills. Okay. Another sign of high emotional intelligence, those with strong social skill are typically team players. They can work as a team player rather than focus on their success first. They help others to develop and shine. අනිත් වර්ධනය වෙන්න අනිත් අයව දිදුලන්න උදව් කරනවා. They can manage disputes and excellent communicators and they are masters at building the maintaining relationship. They can manage any conflict with the other people. They are excellent in communication and they are masters at building maintaining relationship. So if you are emotional intelligence, if you can understand the other emotion very well, you can have very good relationship with the other people. So how to improve your emotional intelligence? So a good news is that emotional intelligence can be learned and developed. That's why I told you, underline this sentence and write down, emotional intelligence is not an inborn talent, it's a skill. That's why it can be developed. Emotional intelligence can be learned and developed. That's why I told you it's a skill, it's not an inborn talent. Underline and write down, it's a skill, not an inborn talent. So as well as working on your skill in the 5 areas above, use these strategies. So how to improve your emotional intelligence? You have to observe how you react to people. It's coming under self-awareness. So do you rush to judgment before you know all of the facts? Do you stereotype? Look honestly at how you think and interact with other people. Okay, so you have to scan yourself. So how you think and interact with other people. Try to put yourself in their place and be more open and accepting of their perspectives and needs. Try to put yourself in their place and be more open and accepting of their perspective and needs. Empathetic thinking. And the other one is observe how you react to people. That means empathy is needed and you have to be open and you have to accepting of their perspective and needs. You have to accept their as it is. And look at your work environment. So first you have to, I will show you, we will be discussing in your note, I will be discussing in the workplace how you can control your emotion. So you have to look at your work environment. So do you seek attention for your accomplishment? So humility can be excellent, but that does not mean that you are shy or lack of self-confidence. When you practice humility, you say you know what you did and you can be quietly confident about it. So give others a chance to shine. Put the focus on them and don't worry too much about getting praise for yourself. So at the environment, let others to be shy. Okay, so don't put yourself always first and don't worry about you too much about getting praise for yourself. You will be gain. Don't worry. Don't be quick. Okay. And do self-evaluation. That's why I told you always you have to understand your self-awareness. Self-evaluation means self-awareness. Where you are strong, where you are weak. So how you are experiencing emotion, whether you can control your positive and negative emotion. So you have to do your self-evaluation. Examine how you react to stressful situation. So this is the way you can do it. So I won't read one by one this sentence, my dear student, but you can recall the previous incidents that you have encountered with negative mindset, a stressful situation. So you can imagine how you have behaved in that situation, sometime in front of your boss, having an argument on your promotion or an increment or incentive, etc. So sometime with your husband, with your wife at home regarding a small concern, okay, or financial concern or a child matter, children matter. So likewise think how you act. මම නිකන් හැසිරුනේ ඒ වෙලාවේ හරි බාල පුද්ගලෙක් වගේද මම හැසිරුනේ හැසිරෙන්න ඕනේ නැති විදියටද. So likewise you have to examine how you react to that stressful situation. But if it is not stressful situation, it's perfectly okay because you enjoy that moment. So you don't want to think about the joyful moments, but think about the stressful situation where how you react. It indicates who you are, how you think, and how you feel. So basically, again, I will tell you, think about 2 stressful situations where you were encountered in the past period, like before 1 month or before 2 weeks, etc. Then you can understand how you behaved in that situation. So according to your behavior, you can assume what you think and how you feel. හැසිරෙච්ච විදියෙන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ හිතපු විදියයි ඔයගොල්ලන්ට දැනෙච්ච විදියයි හොයාගන්න පුළුවන්. So if you have behaved in a very negative manner, it indicates that you are not emotionally intelligent and you could not be able to control your emotion. Sometimes keeping your mouth is the way you can show your emotional intelligence. So my dear students, please and take responsibility for your action. Because take responsibility of your action because your action is a result of your perception and feeling. Underline and write down, take responsibility for your action. Your action, because your action is the result of your, because your action is the result of your, because your action is the result of your, because your action is the result of your thinking and feeling parts. Thinking and feeling means how you experience your emotion. Thinking and feeling means how you experience your emotion. How you experience your emotion. If you were able to show a very good behavior, even though you experienced negative emotion, such as fear, angry, or disgust. It indicates that you are sound enough to control your emotion. It indicates that you are sound enough to control your emotion. And the last way you can improve your emotional intelligence is to examine how your action will affect others. First, you have to take responsibility of your action. Later on, you have to imagine how your action affect others. Sometimes because of your behavior, your husband was ashamed. Husband was angry. Your children were upset. Your parents were blamed you a lot. So you have to examine how your action will affect other, your loved one, your lovely people around you. Maybe your family, maybe your workplace colleagues or co-workers, subordinates or top management, or sometimes like the people in the general community, your relatives, neighbors, etc. How your action affect the other. So before you take those action, if your decision will impact other, put yourself in their place and how will they feel if you do so. This is ඔයා එතනට ගිහලා කල්පනා කරන්න. ඔයා ඒ විදිහට කෑ ගහනකොට ඔයා පිටස්තර මිනිස්සෙක් නම් ඔයාට කොහොමද දැනෙන්නේ? ඔයා බයිනකොට තරහ ගිහිල්ලා මිනිස්සෙකුට ලැජ්ජ හිතුණා නම් මම ඒ ලැජ්ජ හිතෙන මිනිස්සයා වෙලා එතන හිටියනම් how it feel to me. So likewise, always you have to be empathetic. You have to go to the other person's position and think how it feel to me if I am that person. So that is the way you have to improve your emotional intelligence. So I have given few here, my dear student. It does not mean these are the way you can improve your emotional intelligence. I have given only very few, like six points I have shown to you. You can find more and more. It's called learning. It's called learning, my dear student. Okay, it's really highly needed. It's really needed for you. And I'll be showing you 5 simple ways to develop your emotional intelligence. Okay, so just now we discussed the way you can improve your emotional intelligence, and I will show you how the simple 5 ways that you can develop your emotional intelligence. So other than the 5 points I have listed here, if in this video shown more than that, please write down. It is needed. It is highly needed. It's called learning. So please actively watch this video. It's highly needed, my dear student. The purpose of showing this video is to get more knowledge than the given hand.
Which in turn allows you to create new behavioral patterns. Many of us prefer to rely on established behavioral patterns instead of adopting a new behavior model. But having an open mind about life and viewing situations from different perspectives helps you to recognize and accept personal responsibility for your own.
Actually, we discussed about personal responsibility of your success of earlier, and you have to be very open-minded. So that is the point, first point, it has been highlighted. So let's discuss from the beginning. Okay, let's discuss from the beginning. Please listen properly. Okay, I'll show you one by one.
For channel, have you ever deeply regretted something you said?
Have you ever deeply regretted something you said or did? ඔයා කරපු දෙයකට ඔයා කියපු දෙයකට ඇත්තටම ඔයා ඇත්තටම දුක් වෙනවාද? අපේ ජීවිතේ තියෙනවනේ in our lifetime sometime අට එක නොකිය ඉන්න තිබ්බේ. මම ඒ කියපු හින්දා යාගේ හිත රිදුනා. My parents, my children, my husband, my wife, and for my students, for my relatives, neighbors, etc. Sometimes we may feel. So it indicates that you are really sad about the things what you have said to the other people. So that means the other thing you have to understand is you said that word to the other person because you could not be able to control your emotion. You could not be able to control your emotion. දැන් විභාගේ සමත් වෙලා ගිහලා මම ලකුණු මෙච්චරක් ගත්ත උගල failed කියලා අහනවා වගේ. It's a hurtful state. When you make that hateful statement in front of the other, sometimes when you come home and you may regret something you said to your friend. Because during that time you may feel happy because you passed the examination, but you could not be able to control your emotion. Why? Because you could not be able to understand the other person's emotion. Why? Because she is not passed the examination. එයා fail කියන එක මට තේරුම් ගන්න බැරුව ගියා. emotion එක එයාට දැනෙන දුක මට තේරුම් ගන්න බැරුව ගියා. That's why I made that kind of declaration. I passed the examination. I obtained this amount of marks. What is your marks? I came to know that you failed from the examination. So that kind of statement will make really unhappy the other people. So the main problem is even though you nicely express your emotion, but you could not be able to understand other person's emotion, because you should be, if you can understand the other person is really sad because she failed the examination, you never make that kind of sentence. So if you are not make that sentence, it reveals that you are really emotionally intelligent person. So let's say if you have ever deeply regretted something you said or did, then that scenario explain you are not emotionally intelligent. The first one is you could not be able to understand the other person's emotion. That's why you make that kind of statement.
Or did. Sometimes we act on impulse or let our emotions get the best of us. We have so many emotions. It's easy for them to take control. The 5 basic emotions are joy, sadness, fear, disgust, and anger. And they can all splinter off into many more feelings like jealousy, nervousness, and disappointment, gratefulness, contentedness, and satisfaction. It can be easy to categorize our emotional outbursts as simple reactions triggered by environmental stressors, but it is in fact possible to control them. If you begin to recognize yourself as the master of your emotions, there will be fewer moments of regret or upset in your life. Mastering your emotions is hard, but anyone can do it. In this video, we'll be giving you a few tips to help you master your emotions. Number 1, recognize and deconstruct your emotions. If you do not know how to articulate how
It's called self-awareness. Write down these important things that you can improve your emotional, how you can recognize your or construct your emotion very well. So try to write down these important things, how you can improve your emotional intelligence.
how or what you're feeling, it's difficult to master that emotion. But before you can articulate what you're feeling, you have to actually learn what it is that you're feeling. Developing a clear sense of what you're feeling can prevent binge behavior that stems from emotional stress. One way to develop emotional awareness is to keep track of your emotions. Ask yourself, what are you feeling? And when did you start feeling that way? And what was it that caused you to feel that particular feeling? This practice of recognition prevents you from generalizing your emotions. For example, feeling bad can be broken down into many different ways, such as feeling anxious, frustrated, or afraid. Studies show that affect labeling helps reduce related stress and anxiety. Once you've developed a vocabulary for your emotions, you will then be able to deconstruct them down to physical manifestations. Physical sensations are the brain's natural way of coping with overwhelming feelings. Learning to recognize these manifestations can help you untangle yourself from your emotions. For example, if you're anxious, you may feel your heart race, your chest constrict, or have sweaty palms. When you're angry, you may feel hot, like the blood rushes to your face and neck and bubbles under your skin. You might clench your teeth or fists in anger. Or when you're sad, you may feel physically heavy and exhausted and struggle to motivate yourself to get out of bed. Number 2, develop emotional intelligence. Fostering emotional intelligence is perhaps the first step towards mastering your emotions. Emotional intelligence is a buzzworthy word, but what is it? Generally, emotional intelligence involves the ability to identify and name emotions, coupled with the ability to harness these emotions and apply them to certain tasks, and to manage your emotions. Cultivating emotional intelligence will help you better define what you're feeling in any given situation and thus tailor your reactions to fit the moment. You might often generalize your emotions. For example, spilling coffee on your favorite sweater automatically ruins the rest of your day. But if you learn to recognize what you're feeling at that moment, then you'll know what next steps to take so that it does not affect your entire day. Some skills that can help you cultivate emotional intelligence in your life are to practice self-awareness. Learn how to channel your emotions and figure out how to motivate yourself, and also cultivate empathy for others as well as yourself. Number 3, learn new concepts. New experiences can open your mind and introduce you to new perspectives, which in turn allows you to create new behavioral patterns. Many of us prefer to rely on established behavioral patterns instead of adopting a new behavior model. But having an open mind about life and viewing situations from different perspectives helps you to recognize and accept personal responsibility for your own success or failures. You can learn new concepts by experiencing new cultures, learning a new language, or reading a book. Learning new concepts stimulates your neurons and helps create new connections. Scientists suggest practicing an activity that is challenging and complex to help with this. Number 4, practice self-care. Self-care can influence how well you master your emotions. Scientists at the New Mexico Highlands University have found that walking can increase cerebral blood flow, which creates mental clarity. Exercise also decreases the chances of ruminating thoughts and decreases neural activity in the subgenual prefrontal cortex, thus improving overall mental wellness. Some other ways that you can practice self-care are by practicing good hygiene, making sure you drink enough water, and getting enough sleep. Meditation and social connection also help you balance and let out your emotions. Number 5, savor happiness. Someone once said that happiness is like the weather. It comes and it goes. Hence, try and appreciate it when you do have it. During the moments when it feels like it's you against the world, happiness seems like a rarity and can be easy to overlook. But try to find moments of happiness when there seems like there are none. Congratulate yourself on something you've accomplished. Keep a positivity journal when you express gratitude for something that made you happy. It doesn't have to be a life-changing event. It can be something as simple as playing with a dog or treating yourself to some ice cream. Our brains are hardwired to remember negative experiences. So disrupt the pattern with remembering and holding on to happy moments, and this will help you to evolve past those negative emotions. Did you find this video insightful?
Okay, so that is the way we can, the 5 simple ways that we can be happy, we can develop happiness through emotional intelligence. Then later on, let's see what are the 10 leading with emotional intelligence in the workplace. Let's watch this video. It's somewhat a very nice video we can watch. So how we can develop emotional intelligence in the workplace.
And the origins to understand themselves better, their motivations, fears, limitations,
Wait
and
1
strengths.
second. Wait,
It's
I
also
forgot.
almost every business decision we make on a daily basis is based on emotions.
Simply this video show you how you can be emotional intelligence at the workplace. So leading with emotional intelligence at workplace.
We feel choice A is better than choice B. Therefore, many times we make our choices based on what our emotions or gut feeling.
That's why I told you. So decision making is totally based on our emotion. So whether choice A is better than choice B, because the emotion towards A is really positive than B. So that's why we thought to choose A rather than B. So therefore, emotions will lead us for decision making.
Things are telling us. People need to have the self-awareness of their own emotions and the origins to understand themselves better, their motivations, fears, limitations, and strengths. It's also extremely important for people to be in touch with their emotions when working in teams. But just as important,
like basically, we know in the business context, my dear students, we have to work with a team. We have to act as a team member. So therefore, when we are dealing with team member, with a team, definitely we have to deal with different people who have different personalities, attitudes, and behaviors, etc. So their emotion is vary from one person to another. So in that scenario, definitely emotional intelligence is highly required, not only in the workplace, but at home as well. So Amma's emotion, Tata's emotion, or Malli or Nanga's emotion may be totally different. In the same situation, it varies from one person to another. Let's say when we are watching a television, we all are watching TV, same movie, but the emotion towards that movie will vary from one person to another. So Tata's interpretation or Amma's interpretation and Malla, Nanga, it may be totally different. So therefore, when we are work as a team, emotional intelligence is very important, because we have to understand other person's emotion, even though we all are encountering to the same situation. So therefore, we can help other person to control their emotion, and then we can positively act and react in that situation. Or then finally, we can enjoy healthy relationship. So therefore, understanding others' emotion when we are dealing in a team is really important.
Important is their ability to work with empathy, to imagine a problem or situation from another perspective, to stand in somebody else's shoes. Being attuned to other people's emotions and concerns is even more significant today when teams are cross-cultural and businesses are global, thus increasing the complexity of interactions and how emotions are expressed. Emotional intelligence is quite simply the ability to understand, express, and manage your own emotions, develop and maintain good social relationships, and think clearly and solve problems under pressure.
So therefore, emotional intelligence is simply you have to understand your emotion. You have to express your emotion positively, and not before that expression, your emotion, you have to manage them carefully. Then finally, you can have a very good relationship with the other people. Then later on, it goes to solve problems. So that is the way this speaker has this speaker's perspective on emotional intelligence. So what we have discussed also in this slide, in this zine, like understanding means self-awareness, expressing mean we try to self-regulate and we can manage it. Then finally we can have a very good relationship. Then as a result of that, we can solve problems.
Try this simple exercise. Recall a recent incident you would describe as stressful.
Actually, we discussed about this before. So if the way you act in a scenario, in a stressful situation. So I told you to imagine the last 2 incidents or very recent incidents that you have the way you have behaved in a very stressful situation which you have encountered like 1 month ago or 2 weeks before. So try to listen this example very peacefully.
Visualize yourself as an observer, not a participant, almost like you are looking down on the situation from above. As you shift from the role of the participant to the observer, notice the corresponding shift in your emotional state. This self-awareness, now freed of its emotional charge, will help you clearly see how you are impacted by the situation and how you are impacting others. All too often, there's very little emphasis placed on building soft skills or emotional intelligence in schools or workplaces. So where does one learn how to hone these soft skills? The Leading with Emotional Intelligence course is an essential leadership program which helps students, corporate professionals, and entire organizations realize their full potential and improve their relationships with others. In this Leading with Emotional Intelligence program, we work through the EQI 2.0 model developed by Multi-Health Systems, which consists of 15 emotional intelligence competencies, including some of the following: self-regard, the ability to accept yourself for who you are.
Look at this. 15 emotional intelligence competitions have been listed by this speaker. Let's see what are they. Write down one by one.
The following: self-regard, the ability to accept yourself for who you are, warts and all. Assertiveness, the ability to say in a non-offensive way what you need to say when you need to say it. Social responsibility, the ability to give back, to be helpful. Impulse control, the ability to resist or delay an impulse, drive, or temptation to act. And flexibility, the ability to transition your emotions from one state to another. The only way to strengthen your 15 emotional intelligent competencies is to work them. Just like strengthening your biceps, the only way you can build these competencies is if you practice working them. If you want stronger biceps, you do more curls. Well, in a sense, if you want stronger emotional muscles, you do the exercises you need to in order to improve them. This Leading with Emotional Intelligence program provides the necessary tools to 1. Perceive, express, and manage your own emotions. 2. Be aware of others' feelings and help establish strong relationships. And 3. Use the information provided by your emotions to act appropriately in the face of daily challenges. The more you understand your emotions as well as others, the better your professional and personal lives will be.
Okay. That's all about the leading with emotional intelligence in the workplace. A few tips have been shown here. So the last video I'll be showing under emotional intelligence is how the 10 qualities of an emotionally intelligent person. So please check whether, my dear students, whether you are possessing these 10 qualities. If you're not possessing these qualities, try to inculcate in your behavior. It's really needed. So actually, I'm teaching these things, but I'm showing this video not to for your entertainment purpose. For actually to have the one purpose of showing this video is to show to have a change in your life, because showing these continuously I'm speaking will not make a sense for you. But sometimes this video will make a change. It's a big change for your life. So it may be that the reason. So sometimes the other reason may be like the other reason may be for your entertainment, for your knowledge, because the printed handout is not sufficient for you. So I believe this is somewhat a very good
different types of intelligence.
Okay, will make a very good change in your life. So I believe these 10 qualities will help you to understand whether you are possessing these, or if not, you try to inculcate in your behavior these qualities. It's really needed for the emotional intelligence. This is the last video I'm showing to you, and please listen and watch this carefully and write down the important facts which will be sharing this video for your for the development of this topic, for further knowledge of this topic. It's called learning. So you should be able to decide which facts are important for you, which facts are not important for you. So that is the main purpose of giving this. So from this video, I'll wind up this lecture, like intelligence. So we discuss 4 theories of intelligence. Then after we discuss the importance of emotional intelligence, we discuss what is meant by emotional intelligence, as well as we discussed how we can improve emotional intelligence, as well as we discussed few characteristics of emotional intelligence. And I have showed very short videos to you regarding this emotional intelligence, and those videos have been shared with some important facts. That how you can inculcate, how you can acquire this skill. This emotional intelligence is a skill, it's not a born talent. So therefore, these videos have been shown you how you can develop, how you can acquire this skill in your as a person, or in your as a worker in your workplace. So please look at this video carefully. These are the 10 qualities required for emotionally intelligent. To be an emotionally intelligent person, these 10 qualities are really important. So this is the last video, and from this video I'll wind up the session. Okay, let's watch this.
Intelligence, and it's our job to discover what they are and how to integrate them into our lives. Sources of intelligence can be measured in quotients. Most of us are familiar with IQ, or the intelligence quotient, which is primarily associated with our ability to memorize, retrieve items from our memory, and our logical reasoning. There's also a new up-and-comer, CQ, or curiosity quotient, which refers to one's ability to have a powerful motivation to learn a particular subject. What I spend much of my time in both research and in working with clients and organizations on is focusing on emotional intelligence. The definition of emotional intelligence, popularized by author Daniel Goleman in his seminal eponymous book, is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage our own emotions. Recognize, understand.
Write down this definition if you are needed. Daniel Goleman is the person who introduced this nice concept. So if it is needed, if you want to define the emotional intelligence according to Daniel Goleman's perspective, write down this.
Understand and influence the emotions of others. In practical terms, this means being aware that emotions can drive our behavior and impact people, positively and negatively, and learning how to manage those emotions, both our own and others, especially when we are under pressure. We are emotional creatures who often make decisions and respond to stimuli based on our emotions. As a result, our ability to grow in EQ has an enormous impact in all of our relationships, how we make decisions and identify opportunities. EQ is enormously important. Through my work, I've identified 10 qualities that I believe comprise the emotionally intelligent person. I hope you gain value from this and learn to understand the ways you can influence your mind and the minds of others by growing emotionally every day in all that you do. I love this definition of empathy. Empathy is the capacity to understand or feel what another person is experiencing from within their frame of reference.
I believe now you can remember this word, because we have discussed with you that empathy is highly needed for emotionally intelligent person. Okay, so basically these 10 qualities is nicely explaining this video. So if it is necessary, the ingredients or component of these qualities, please write down them.
I.e., the capacity to place oneself in another's position. There are 2 different types of empathy. A piece from the Greater Good Science Center at UC Berkeley beautifully depicts what they are. Affective empathy refers to the sensations and feelings we get in response to others' emotions. This can include mirroring what that person is feeling, or just feeling stressed when we detect another's fear or anxiety. Cognitive empathy, sometimes called perspective taking, refers to our ability to identify and understand other people's emotions. We empathize based on the reaction to others. What I'd also say is that empathy can be cultivated and learned through experiences. Store away in your memory those feelings that you feel, both in reaction and as you put things in perspective. Write these thoughts out, analyze them, and determine how you want to treat others in the same way you'd want to be treated. Self-awareness is the art of understanding yourself, recognizing what stimuli you're facing, and then preparing for how to manage yourself in both a proactive and reactive manner. Self-awareness is how we see ourselves and also how we perceive others to see us. The second, external aspect, is always the most difficult to properly assess. Leaders who focus on building both internal and external self-awareness, who seek honest feedback from loving critics, and who ask what instead of why, can learn to see themselves more clearly and reap the many rewards that increased self-knowledge delivers. For yourself, ask the introspective questions. Yearn for knowledge and be curious. And for others, seek feedback in an honest, caring environment. Show me a curious person who's willing to learn and improve, and I'll show you a success story waiting to happen. When you're curious, you're passionate. And when you're passionate, you are driven to want to be your best. Your antennae are up to things you love, to wanting to grow and learn more. This learning mindset positively affects other areas of your life, like relationships. First, individuals with higher CQ are generally more tolerant of ambiguity. This nuanced, sophisticated, subtle thinking style defines the very essence of complexity. Second, CQ leads to higher levels of intellectual investment and knowledge acquisition over time, especially in formal domains of education, such as science and art. The most emotionally intelligent and resolute people are deep thinkers that analyze and process all new information that comes their way. They continue to analyze old information, habits, and ways of doing things to see if they can extract ways to improve. We're all analysts in the sense that we consciously think about all new information that comes our way. Savvy EQ individuals are problem solvers and everyday philosophers who contemplate the why of existence, the why of why we do what we do, and who care passionately about living a virtuous life. Having an analytical mind means having a healthy appetite for a continuously improving mindset, geared at bettering yourself and always remaining open to new ideas. A major component of maintaining emotional self-control is using the power of faith to believe in yourself, both in the present and in the future. It's believing that the people and things in your life are there for a reason and that everything will ultimately work out for good. Faith alone will not help you. It takes action, of course, but when you combine faith with powerful values like hard work, perseverance, and a positive attitude, you have formed the foundation of a champion. Every great leader and thinker uses faith, either in a practical context, emotionally, and certainly spiritually. Spend time in meditation. Think about the way you believe in yourself. Engender a greater faith toward the person you are and who you want to become. And trust and believe that the pieces in your life will come together in a way that will help you live boldly and joyfully. The emotionally intelligent mind is able to discern between things that they need versus things that would be nice to have, that classify more aptly as wants. A need, particularly in the context of Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs, is the basic level stuff, like safety, survival, and sustenance. Once those things are met, then we can progress to other needs and, of course, wants. A want is a big house, nice car, and even the brand new iPhone. We do not need those things to survive, but rather we want them based on our own personal desires or what we perceive to matter to society. Become well versed in knowing what you truly need to live, to accomplish goals, and to support yourself and loved ones. Make sure you draw a very clear distinction between what it is you need and what it is you want. Emotionally intelligent people know the difference between these two things and always establish needs prior to fulfilling wants.
Okay, I believe you can understand what this explain. It nicely explained that emotionally intelligent people know what they want right now, because we have seen that many more people try to satisfy their different needs at one. Let's say when our neighbor bought a car, then however, we also try to purchase a car better than that car. So that means when we feel that our relative or had some kind of dinner or they have gone for a lunch or a day out, then we also, however, try to go to better place than they have ever gone. So likewise, but emotionally intelligent people, they know what is their emotion, and they take that, they know what is the difference between the different needs of them, whether they want to satisfy security needs, whether they want to have good relationship with the other people right now, whether they want to achieve one's full potential. So they want to do, they can nicely differentiate their wants and needs. Then later on, they can decide how they are going to satisfy their needs. So they know what is the emotion right now, which is roaming in their mind. So according to their emotion, they will take necessary action to select what they want exactly. ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ හිතේ තියෙන සිතුවිල්ලට අනුව වඩාත්ම ගැළපෙන දේ ඒගොල්ලෝ ගන්න උත්සාහ කරනවා, අනිත් අය කරන දේවල් කරන්න යන්නේ නැහැ. So if you want to have a very emotionally sound people, try to understand what you are required right now. It is very important.
Know the difference between these two things and always establish needs prior to fulfilling wants. Inspired leadership and love for what you do is born from having a passion for a subject or people. People with a high EQ use their passion and purpose to ignite the engine that drives them to do what they do. This passion is infectious and contagious. It permeates all areas of their lives and rubs off on the people around them. Passion is sort of that je ne sais quoi, that when you feel it, or even when you see it in others, you simply know. Passion is the natural desire, instinct, drive, ambition, and motivated love for a subject or someone. Passion brings positive energy that helps sustain us and inspire us to want to keep going. And there's no secret that emotionally intelligent people who are passionate are also willing to persevere and power forward no matter their circumstances. If you want to increase your opportunities, improve your relationships, and think clearly and constructively, you're best positioned to maintain a positive attitude. Of all the things that we try to control and influence, our attitude is the primary thing that is always within our control. We can choose to live each day by being positive. It's that simple. When we are happy, when our mindset and mood are positive, we are smarter, more motivated, and thus more successful. Happiness is the center, and success revolves around it. Emotionally intelligent people recognize when to continue their course and when it's time for a change. This vitally important recognition and ability to make crisp, swift decisions in your best interest is called adaptability. You must determine when to stay the course or when to keep moving forward in another direction. Similarly, when one strategy is not working, try evaluating and determining if something else will work. From the way you treat yourself to how you treat others, to your daily routine. Always stay open-minded and be willing to adapt and introduce new elements to how you think and what you do. Throughout your life, you'll need to change course and make assessments on whether you'll be happy and successful if you choose one path or another. Recognize that you can always change. You can always start over. It may not always be the most prudent or wise decision, but only you will truly know in your heart what is or what isn't. Start with leaving the option on the table.
So this is the nice quality that I have noted out of this 10 list: desire to help others and succeed for yourself. So first, help other people to success. Okay, it's really needed. So if you feel that you are succeeded, so don't try to enjoy your happiness alone. So let other people to talk, let other people to be success. So please give your helping hand. So the better way you can show, you can give your helping hand to those people is, my dear students, please try to understand their emotion. Okay, so it is really needed. If you want to be a truly amazing people in front of the other, so help other people to be success by understanding their emotion. It's really needed as a human being or a empathetic person on this earth.
Last but not least, an emotionally intelligent person is interested in overall success and achievement, not just for themselves, but for their peers. Their inspired leadership and passion, combined with their optimism, drives them to want to do best for themselves and others. Too often, we get so self-absorbed and concerned only with what's in it for me. We have to be concerned about this. It's a must, so don't let anyone ever convince you otherwise. But in the same way that we should be focused on our self-interest, we should also maintain a spirit of desire and hope for wanting to see the people around us succeed. Not only is this a brilliant safeguard against envy and greed, it also revitalizes our passion and drives us towards achieving our next goal. It helps us gain allies and builds powerful relationships that come back to help us in reciprocal fashion.
Okay, so that's all about the 10 qualities to be a successful person or emotionally intelligent person, my dear students. So from this point, I'll wind up this session. Again, I will show you, I will be showing you that we have discussed very important factors in this lesson under the lesson called intelligence. So initially, let's check the inter-learning outcome, whether we have achieved them. So initially we explain what is meant by intelligence. Then we try to explain the various theories of intelligence. Basically, we discussed 4 theories and we discussed different types of intelligence under these theories. So we did not discuss different type of intelligence as a separate topic, but under each theory, we will be discuss different types of intelligence. Then finally, we discuss what is meant by emotional intelligence, and they discuss elaborate the 5 critical aspects. So basically, it can be 5 or a 4, like self-awareness, control your emotion. As a 4th one, understand the other person's emotion and help to control their emotion. And the 5th one is have a very good relationship. So you don't worry about these 5 critical aspects. So these 5 critical aspects is, first you have to aware about your emotion. Then you have to control your emotion. Third one is you have to control you have to understand other person's emotion, and you should help other person to control their emotion. Then finally, you have a very good relationship. So those are the 5 steps. But basically, we discussed 4. We can put into one basket these 5 under 4 themes. First one is self-awareness, then self-regulation, and help understand other person's emotion, and finally have a very good relationship. But anyhow, these 4 also can be elaborated as understanding your emotion, control your emotion, understanding other person's emotion, help other person to control their emotion, and finally have a very good relationship with the people around you. So that I believe that these are the inter-learning outcomes I have covered through this lesson, not only from this printed handout, not only this handout, but also from the videos that I have shared with you. So don't skip the video. Please watch them carefully. There are so many important facts have been shared in those videos, and write down them and try to enrich your handout. It's really needed. So I believe you understood this lesson. If there are any gray areas, when we are discussing exam focus question, let's try to do it. So thank you very much for being with me, and have a nice day, and God bless you, my dear student. This is the end of lesson number 6, human intelligence. God bless you.